Ah, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Oh.
Oh, that's something I've been missing for a long time.
I'm so proud of you.
Gosh, if I would have known that's all it took, I would have joined Narcotics Anonymous a long time ago. I've always been a bit skeptical of people bearing their souls in public, but to tell you the truth, I've really been inspired by it. I can't wait to go again.
So, how do you feel physically?
I wouldn't wish my drug withdrawal on my worst enemy, but I think that the worst of it's over. But I wouldn't look at me sideways if I were you, because I might bite your head off.
Well, actually, I had a little different angle in mind last night. Would have proven it to you if you hadn't fallen asleep.
Well, you should have woken me.
No. I decided it was better to let you sleep. You being asleep, at least you weren't worrying about all your drug problems.
Monica, you're making me sound like a crazed junkie. It was never that bad.
Come on, Alan, we're hooked.
That's simply not true. My cravings, they got out of control a couple of times. So basically the situation was okay as a whole.
Well, then, how would you have explained your behavior at the nurses' ball?
A temporary slip.
What about when you OD'd?
Where did you hear that?
Tony told me that you were brought into his clinic where he does community service and that you were unconscious.
And how did the subject of my overdose happen to come up in a casual conversation with Tony?
That is not important, Alan. What concerns me is that if that happened, you could have died.
If Tony said to you that I overdosed, he was grossly exaggerating.
You were admitted, Alan.
Monica, I was at the lowest point in my life. I thought that Jason had died. The full extent of what I had done to my life and everybody else around me just started to dawn on me. I was being unfair and unkind to both you and to Emily. And, I just lost it at that moment. But I assure you, Monica, it was an isolated incident.
Do you realize what would have happened if someone hadn't found you and brought you to Tony?
Of course I do, and that's why I decided to quit. And I had quit. I was clean right up to the day of the nurses' ball. But that day, the floor kind of just fell in on me, and I was disgusted with myself, and you were disgusted with me. And in a moment of self-pity, I gave in to my cravings.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
How can you say that? Of course it is. I mean, you needed help, and here I was. I was so obsessed thinking that you were having an affair with Amy Vining. I couldn't see what was right in front of me. Why couldn't you just have told me the truth?
For God's sake, Monica, I was too ashamed to tell you.
Is it that, or does it have to do more with our relationship than you'd like to admit? Alan, I realize, I get to the hospital and I get so involved with patients that I can just really become insensitive to the people that I really care about.
That's not it at all.
Oh, really? Well, if it isn't, then why would you find it easier to tell me that you were having an affair rather than to tell me about your addiction? My God, you had to feel so alone.
Monica, for God's sake, I was too ashamed to tell you. That's all. I'm a doctor. I should have known better. You would have never succumbed.
You don't know that. We all have weaknesses.
You would have never violated your oath. Never. You are the woman that I admire most in this world, and I have let you down in the worst possible way. And I just thought to myself, letting you think that I had an affair with Amy was the lesser of the two evils.
I'll make it up to you.
No, Monica. It's I who has to make it up to you.
I've never felt closer to you than I do right now. Oh. I have an idea. Let's spend the day together.
I don't want to take you away from your work.
No, I have a very light schedule today. Why don't you just go on upstairs, make yourself comfortable? I'll make a call and have somebody cover for me.
You know, well, we can do that tonight.
Well, I'd rather catch you while you're awake. Go ahead. Go on up. I'll be right there. Because you have a badge doesn't mean you can barge into somebody's house like this.
Want me to get a warrant and do it by the book? Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll uncover your husband's drug stash. But then again, we'd be right back where we started.
For your information, my husband has kicked his habit. He is going to Narcotics Anonymous, and he is turning his whole life around.
We had a deal, Dr. Quartermain. You promised to deliver me Justice Ward, and I promised not to book your husband on possession of an unregistered weapon and illegally obtained drugs.
He happens to be pulling his life together.
Maybe I'm not making myself clear. I want Justice Ward. I'm going to have Ward one way or another now. Either you hand him over to me, or your husband is going down.
Now that's blackmail.
You can turn me down.
All right, fine. I have an appointment with Justice, and I will get you your evidence. You just get out of this house, and don't you ever come back.
Hey, Dad.
Hey.
What are you doing out here?
I was looking for your mother. I think I've been stood up. You haven't seen her, have you?
No, but if I do, I'll tell her you were looking for her. You know, I wanted to tell you that I'm really, really proud of you for kicking your drug problem. I know that for me, it was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. And if you ever have, you know, any problems or anything you need to tell me, all you have to do is ask. You know that.
That's a switch. A daughter helping her father with his problems.
Yeah, that's what family's for, right?
Hmm?
I missed you. I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
Mwah.